There is a hotel in Carmel by the Sea, California, that charges approximately $1,200 per night for a standard room, operates at occupancy rates that most luxury hotels would consider aspirational, has never been sold at a distressed price, has never filed for bankruptcy, and has never had its primary competitive advantage threatened by any new entrant to its market. The lodge at Pebble Beach is not primarily a hotel. It is an access mechanism for something that cannot be replicated. The Pebble Beach Golf Links, the most famous public golf course in the United States, whose first tee sits 18 feet from the Pacific Ocean on the Monterey Peninsula, whose visual setting and historical significance have made it the most photographed hole in American golf, and whose ownership is the specific competitive moat that makes the lodge at Pebble Beach economically invulnerable in a way that no other luxury hotel in this channel's archive can claim. The Pebble Beach Company, which owns the lodge, the inn, the links, the Spyglass Hill Golf Course, the Del Monte Golf Course, Spanish Bay, and the approximately 5,300 acres of Monterey Peninsula real estate that surround them, has been owned since 1999 by a private consortium that includes Arnold Palmer, Clint Eastwood, Peter Ueberroth, and Richard Ferris, a group that acquired the property for approximately $820 million from a Japanese conglomerate that had purchased it in 1990 for approximately $841 million, and whose ownership produced the financial outcomes documented in Case File 067's examination of Japanese capital in American real estate markets. The forensic entry point is the moat, the specific set of physical, legal, and institutional characteristics that make Pebble Beach irreplaceable and therefore economically invulnerable to the competitive dynamics that destroy luxury hotels, whose value is expressed in their brand rather than their geography. Subscribe now, because Pebble Beach is the case file where geography is the financial structure. Golf as infrastructure is a concept that requires specific explanation because the conventional understanding of hotel infrastructure, the rooms, the restaurants, the meeting spaces, understates the specific role that Pebble Beach Golf Links plays in the lodge's economic model. In a conventional luxury hotel, the hotel's amenities, the spa, the restaurants, the pool, are supplementary to the rooms, which are the primary revenue generator. Guests choose the hotel primarily for its location, its brand, or its service quality, and the amenities enhance the experience without being the primary reason for the room rate premium. At the lodge at Pebble Beach, the relationship is inverted. The primary reason for the room rate premium is access to Pebble Beach Golf Links. The green fee for a single round of golf at Pebble Beach is approximately $595 per person. Hotel guests receive priority access to tee times that are otherwise allocated through a reservation system that imposes a minimum booking window and a geographic restriction on advance reservations. The $1,200 room rate is not primarily a hotel rate. It is an access premium for the tee time priority that hotel guests receive. This economic relationship makes the lodge fundamentally different from any other luxury hotel in this channel's archive. Its room rate premium is backed not by a brand promise or a physical amenity package, but by a physical geography that is legally protected, geographically unique, and practically irreproducible. No competitor can build a Pebble Beach Golf Links. The California Coastal Act restricts new development on the Monterey Peninsula coastline. The existing course's position, 18 holes along the Pacific Ocean on a peninsula whose geology produced exactly this cliff and bay and rock landscape, cannot be approximated in a new location. The US Open has been held at Pebble Beach 6 times. The history of the tournament field, the famous holes, and the televised images of the course are a cultural capital that accumulates rather than depreciates. The lodge's room rate is backed by a competitive moat that is simultaneously physical, legal, historical, and cultural. No leveraged buyout, no brand dilution, no competitive new entrant can erode it. The Pebble Beach Company's ownership history documents the specific value of the moat from a different angle. The Japanese capital case. Minoru Isutani's Cosmo World Corporation acquired Pebble Beach in 1990 for approximately $841 million, the largest acquisition of an American golf course and resort in history at the time, executed at the peak of Japanese capital's aggressive acquisition of American trophy assets, documented in Case File 067. The Cosmo World acquisition produced outcomes consistent with the pattern that Case File 067's analysis of Matsushita's MCA acquisition documented, a Japanese acquirer paying a premium that the asset's American market financial returns could not justify, financing the acquisition with debt structures whose service requirements the asset's operating cash flows could not service at the acquisition price, and eventually selling at a loss that documented the gap between what the Japanese capital strategic rationale had been willing to pay and what the American commercial real estate market's financial return requirements would sustain. Isutani sold Pebble Beach in 1992 for approximately $500 million to Taiheiyo Gulf, another Japanese operator who held the property until 1999 when the Palmer Eastwood Consortium acquired it for approximately $820 million. The $821 million to $500 million to $820 million ownership trajectory is the most precise available documentation of what happens when trophy assets with genuine competitive moats pass through ownership structures whose financial return requirements are incompatible with the asset's sustainable operating economics, and then return to ownership structures whose financial expectations the asset's operating cash flows can actually meet. The moat survived both Japanese ownership periods. The moat always survives. The only question is whether the ownership structure above the moat is compatible with the moat's economics, or is simply waiting for the moat's value to produce the sale that makes someone else's ownership economics possible. The membership model at Pebble Beach provides the specific financial mechanism that converts the golf course's irreplaceable geography into a predictable income stream that the lodge's room rate premium supplements. The Pebble Beach Company's private club memberships, whose waiting lists and initiation fees represent a capitalized version of the access premium that the golf links' geography commands. The membership as endowment concept reflects the specific financial structure of a private club, whose primary asset is irreplaceable. The members' initiation fees and annual dues provide a revenue base that does not fluctuate with hotel occupancy, does not depend on brand perception management, and does not require the capital maintenance investment that physical hotel amenities demand, because the primary asset, the golf course, is maintained through a combination of member dues and green fees, whose scale reflects the course's cultural and competitive significance rather than the typical golf course's commercial economics. A course that hosts the US Open generates television revenues, course exposure, and membership interest that a standard private club cannot approach. The US Open's presence at Pebble Beach, 6 times and counting, is not merely a prestige marker. It is a revenue event, a membership marketing platform, and a competitive positioning confirmation that no amount of brand management at a conventional luxury hotel could replicate. The lodge at Pebble Beach represents the specific case where the hotel is the least interesting element of the financial model. The golf course is the moat. The membership is the endowment. The land is the barrier to entry. The hotel collects the access premium from the guests who want all three. The case files in this channel's archive that document the most durable hospitality business models, the Breakers, the Broadmoor, the Peninsula Hotels, share the characteristic that their durable value is rooted in something that cannot be replicated: permanent ownership of irreplaceable land, an institutional customer base, a century of family stewardship. Pebble Beach adds a fourth: the specific geography that makes a piece of California coastal land the most famous golf course in the world, and therefore the most defensible hotel economic model in American hospitality. This content was developed using artificial intelligence tools as part of the research, writing, and production process. All AI-generated material was subject to human review, editorial intervention, and approval before publication.